To the topic of the discussion and hit the issues you typically find reluctant. Remove the facade to fill the gap with some substance. We undermining problems, expecting to overcome it. Please hold the applause. We doing it for the cause. People follow culture before they follow the laws. We rather face the friction and not attempt it at all. Persistence will find solutions once our contentment dissolves. There's a hard pill to swallow for anyone breathing, both for folks who stay woke and those who be dreaming. We ain't slaves, yet we still ain't experienced freedom. What we need is the keys to access the kingdom. We're all in this fallen world trying to stay intact. I'm just a beggar, point you out to where the bread is at. So follow the breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel. Thank Yogi Bear and the thought engineer for that on
Man, I Major Payne said, I used to cut a little rug back in my
Yeah, we don't want to make you dig in your repertoire for some for
right.
You know
Hey, man. Man, my boys used to tear the club up.
I know that's what you say, man. That's what you say.
Hey, man, bro, I'm telling you, we used to set it off, man. It wasn't a party till we got there. I'm telling you.
Hey,
I ain't high side neither. I'm for real. I'm serious.
Oh, to be young, sir.
You gotta say I went back on your high side. Say I went back on you.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of that lately, so that's good. You covered up.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's another Monday. Welcome to Man Talk Mondays. I'm the thought engineer with my man, comedian John Yogi. How you feeling tonight?
I'm doing great, man. I am doing great. It started raining, man. I was outside getting my freestyle stroke on because it was raining and raining and raining.
Bro, I went home, we were coming back, and right as soon as we get almost home, like 10 miles from home, it started pouring down. Yeah. My wife was scared. She was scared. I had to slow way down to get
so
all right though.
Yeah, it was raining pretty hard today too, man. I looked outside, I was like, boy, it is coming down outside, man.
Miss Abigail, how you doing?
What up?
What's going on? All my peeps out there. Good to see y'all, hear from y'all, the whole nine. So we won't prolong the time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Man Talk Mondays. It's an open forum where we talk about everything from religion to politics to relationships, but we're coming from a man's perspective. Now, keep in mind, this is not just for men. We want everybody to join in, men, women, boys, girls. You are part of the conversation. Now, how you participate, you go drop your comment, drop your question into the comment section. We can see it. But this is a conversation between all of us. So by all means, make sure you go in. Let us know what you think and how you feel. We want to hear from you tonight. All right? But before we get into all of that, ladies and gentlemen, Man Talk Monday News.
This is John D. Blackman with today's top story. Don't let me walk out the house looking any kind of way. Listen, for all y'all people in relationships, if your husband shave his head and he miss hair or strip down his head, don't let him walk outside looking like the Indianapolis 500. Say something to him. Check him. He can't see in the back of his head. Just like if you was doing your hair and half your extension was hanging down, you would want me to say something. Don't let me walk out looking any kind of way, because if I look any kind of way, you look any kind of way. And it's all about us looking good together. See, because ain't nothing worse than being at the mall and you see somebody and you look and you say, oh, his girl should have told him he missed a spot. You don't want that. You don't want that from your man. It's hard enough to keep y'all anyway. So this has been John D. Blackman with today's top story. Don't let me be looking any kind of way, man. Good evening and good night.
Living file, man. They gonna check you out and say, hey, make sure you good. You always got to do the check before you leave the house.
You don't understand the plight of shaving your head. You don't understand it, sir. You don't understand. If you get this spot, you're gonna miss this one. If you get you don't know it's like it moves. You don't understand. You don't understand, brother. You don't understand.
Yeah, I've worn a bald head a few times, but my wife was like, no. But
well, let me know how you really feel.
it was freeing to me. I mean, I liked it, but I guess no love on the bald head.
No, you get none. You get none.
Well, now we're gonna get into it. Just gonna talk about a few things that's going on. This is Man Talk About It. Listen, don't forget, we got our podcast. We want you to go and check it out. New episode every week. We want you to go and listen to it. And check it out. All the podcast platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify. So by all means, just go and check it out when you get time. All right. So now we're going to get into Man Talk About It. Man Talk About It. First thing, we got Naomi Osaka shuts it down. So for those of you who don't know, Naomi Osaka is this up-and-coming tennis star. She has even beaten Serena a few times. So she's real deal. But she didn't want to deal with the media and the whole nine. So for her own personal mental health, she made the decision to stop talking to media and sit out the French Open. She's sitting out the French Open. And so there's been a lot of backlash from the media, but a lot of athletes have stepped up in support of Naomi Osaka. So you think she made the right decision, man?
Well, I can't really say whether or not it was the right decision, but I can't say it was a wrong one either. If that's how she felt, I can't argue with the way she feels. And if you got a problem with that, you've never been a professional athlete or somebody that's really famous like myself, because I have. And I know people just ask just the most stupid questions that you've already answered, and they ask them different ways, and it's quite irritating, to be honest with you. And if she's saying that's worrying on her, hey man, we have to accept that. We're living in a society now where so much stuff can be done over social media, and saying that people are so horrific. I understand it. I understand completely. I
heard a media guy saying, you were at that level, you owe it to people to do interviews and all this type of stuff. But I watched her interview. She seems like a real shy person. Like she's not big on saying a whole lot. But I guess it was stressing her out.
But they kids. She's a child, though.
Yeah.
To be honest, people need to probably mind their own business. And if you're looking for a story, social media may be the platform.
You're right. Speaking of minding your own business, Monique is got in hot water with the younger generation of women over these bonnets. So she's taking to social media, I'm your auntie, I'm your mama. You need to listen to me, baby. When you leave out the house. You need to be representing yourself a lot better. Maybe we don't go outside like this. My queens, we don't go outside like this. And the young generation ain't feeling it. They're like, mind your business, woman.
But D, how can you be mad at her? See, this generation gets upset when they are corrected. And she did it in a loving way. She didn't get on there. She could have got on the comedy stage and blasted them. She didn't do that. She appealed to their hearts and said, babies, we need to do it better than what we're doing. But what do they get you when you talk to these ninjas like they got some friends? What they get you? What they get you? It don't get you none but backlash. Don't buy a curl what y'all talking about. Stop going outside looking any kind of way. You're not just representing you, but you represent us.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what she was trying to get them to see. But I think I think it's time to invest in some bonnets because people just out of spite, I'm gonna find a bonnet company to invest in because just out of spite, they finna just go buy up a whole bunch of bonnets.
I know it, man, but why are we like that? Why do we hide and fight the truth? It's the truth. She didn't lie. It's gotten so bad, man. They threatening her like they want to do something to her.
Oh yeah. But they are really upset about this, and I've heard a few of them say, "Hey, you want us to take our bonnets off and stuff, but you say we messed up. But y'all the reason we messed up. Y'all the ones that raised us, so it's y'all fault."
Well, you know who messed up is Floyd Mayweather messed up last night.
Oh my goodness. Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul had an exhibition match. If those who don't know who Jake Paul is, he's this YouTuber. Now, people are getting on YouTube making a killing. And this dude made off like a bandit last night with millions of dollars because he was able to talk himself up enough to get a fight with Floyd Mayweather. I
think he got close to 10 million for the fight. I think he got close. And the funny thing about it is they say it looked like the Punch-Out game where you had this real big guy and then this little itty bitty guy.
Right.
It was not the craziest thing you've ever seen, though.
Oh my goodness. Abigail said that fight was stupid. I agree, Abigail. It was stupid. Floyd Mayweather is just really, he just taking money. He just taking people money. Most of y'all know, a lot of people know Floyd is getting paid big money off of these crazy things. He, because he's a businessman.
But he barely got out of there with his life last night. I know his life flashed before his eyes last night because that dude was trying to kill him.
But Floyd Mayweather, you talk about one of the greatest athletes, especially boxers, what I'm saying? They saying ever. Never lost a fight. So that was a huge thing. And now you got other fighters like, I want that type of money. MMA fighters saying, I want that type of money. So he stirred up some stuff with this one.
And my understanding, they had a really good crowd. They had a really good crowd. They had and speaking of trying to kill somebody, they opened the doors back, y'all. They opened the doors back.
Oh man, we pretty much back now. COVID restrictions are being lifted. They say they got like 300 million vaccines they've actually given out. They still haven't hit the number that Biden wanted to hit, but everything, the bars are back open, everything is full capacity, even to the point now teachers, when they first started the school year, it was, hey, have your mask, put your mask on, stay masked up. If you're going to come into school, stay masked up. Now, if they tell kids to put on a mask and somebody complains, they can be fined $1,000.
So wait, so you can't say it, but can you sign language?
Maybe they don't understand that. It's crazy. We here we are, this complete 180. Make sure you got your mask on to don't tell nobody they got to put a mask on or anything like that. If you do, there's the consequences.
I read something today that says we're not making you put a mask on, but we will show like for you to put one on. Listen, you got to make up your mind. You can't be on both the track. Either you want me to put one on or you don't want me to put one on. It's making it really tough on businesses and everything that are actually fearful of COVID. It's really a tough time though. It's really a tough time because we can't decide. We don't want to offend nobody, and you got to offend somebody, don't you?
I mean, you would think so, but they making it to where if you offend somebody, you can't offend nobody on anything. You can't say nothing these days. So now, and everybody know it was a sensitive thing about masks, and I mean, just COVID had everybody on edge anyway. And now you putting restrictions on even saying stuff about putting a mask on. It's just gonna get that much worse. Because if somebody not comfortable, that somebody gonna end up saying something, they're gonna end up getting fined or something like that. And it's crazy.
So boy, they're gonna have to give the teachers hazardous pay.
Right. All them fines they finna get.
As nasty as kids are, they don't know no better. They're just nasty. They don't know no better. They're just kids. Kids nasty. And you want me to be up in there all day with them and don't want them to have no mask on. That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
But people out, man. People are out. You go weekend, especially if any little bit of sun, it's packed in the streets these days, man. People out there hitting the nightlife. And I mean, just everything going on vacations, all this stuff and open back up. So now for all of the couples who were quarantining, what's going on now? Are you still with your boo? So we talking about tonight, is cuffing season over since outside is open?
See, I didn't know what cuffing was. I thought they had misspelled it and it's supposed to be coughing. So I'm with complete honesty here. So if you could explain to some people, because everybody don't know what cuffing is.
So basically, cuffing typically happens when it starts getting cold. So around October. So people want somebody that they can cuddle with during the cold months, right? So they ride out the cold months with this person, and then typically around February, March, sometimes they try to break it off before Valentine's Day, but typically around March when it starts warming back up, now they trying to get out, not just out the house, but out this relationship that they done started doing this whole cuffing season. But cuffing season ran a little bit longer than usual this time because of the pandemic. So you had people cuffing back in what?
2000?
It was 2020. What was like?
March. Had to be March.
Like 7 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
15 months.
Oh yeah, because I'm saying they have to be at least a year.
15 months. So now you got somebody you've been stuck in the house with for 15 months. I don't know. I think some people probably ready for them to leave.
So I'm curious, was divorce rate high? Because I know the police said that domestic violence has shot through the roof.
Yeah, it went up. Abigail says, man, I don't even like to be laid up with somebody that long, though. Like, I got things to do and goals to meet. Who has that much time cuffing all year long? Right. But remember, you couldn't just go anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Ron say we outside. We outside. I'm trying to meet some new people in the whole nine, but you had 15 months to stay stuck up with somebody. So yeah, domestic violence, I'm pretty sure it went up. But here's the funny thing about it though. They said divorce actually kind of dipped, kind of took a decline.
Well, because you couldn't go nowhere.
Right?
You can't go nowhere, man. You could, but now, did the missing bodies come up though? Because you know I love you. You know I love you.
Right. That's a statistic we gotta check out. We gotta look up. But they actually said that divorce rates kind of. I guess if you forced to work it out, if you forced to sit there, and you say, if I gotta sit here, I gotta do something. I can't go to jail.
They got no room in jail. The line started around the corner trying to go to jail.
Nah, I don't like the way they treat people up in there. Abigail said, that's when I shut the door. You take the living room, I take the room.
I'm saying.
Meet back at 6 p.m. for dinner.
Yeah.
Hey, houses became very territorial. They became very territorial. And most people didn't realize how annoying the person was until they got stuck with them.
Well, see, I think people knew all along how annoying people were, but because we can handle that in doses. Think about it. You can handle it in small doses because I don't have to be able, I get my job, I get to leave the house for most of the day. Because depending on how long it takes you to get to work, 20, 30 minutes, that's an hour. You're gone for 9 hours. That's 10 hours. And now you come back home. It's finna get dark. I'm finna eat dinner. I'm finna go watch TV. Boom, we good. You take all that away. It's
right.
And we got to deal with each other. Yes, I can imagine it was really tough. Really tough.
So y'all let us know, any of y'all did any cuffing? Or were you cuffed by somebody during this time? Was anybody paying you particularly a lot of attention? They wanted to be up under you these past 15 months. And did you fall for it?
I think I didn't know. I think I might have got cuffed and I didn't know it. Or I might have cuffed because who is
Producer acting bad right now.
I think I might have been cuffed because when we first went on this thing, we didn't, because now they talking about going back to work and stuff. But when we first went on it, things were everybody was trying to kind of adjust to it. So I had a lot of free time, and I used to go around the house kind of bothering everybody. But and everybody used to be like, "Man, you need to go do something with them. You need to go play in the street. You need to go do something." You know how they do.
You can play in the street with no cars. Nobody driving. You can play in the streets all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Rod says no cuffing or cuffed last season.
Well, so that was right. So she must have been in the house by herself.
So I'm wondering, how's this cuffing going? Because it seems like men and women not getting along these days to begin with.
Well, they ain't never got along. It's just more people just talking more about it now.
Abigail said people were making babies, had nothing else to do. Hey, you made a baby during COVID. You probably had the baby at the same. By the time you went through the whole thing.
Yeah, you sure did. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some of them had to go through the whole process with the person because 15 months. You know what I'm saying? That's a long time. 15 months.
And that makes it hard on dating. If you were dating at that time, wouldn't that make it very difficult though? Because I can't really see you. I don't really know what you're doing. You don't really know I guess we know what we're doing. We're not really seeing each other. Or does that hurt? Does that hurt your dating? Does that hurt your dating, or you just kind of power through it?
I think it hurts it. Because now, let's say you pick the wrong person, and like Abigail said, y'all doing a whole lot of stuff to pass the time. You go back out. Now you probably pregnant. You can't go search no more.
You pregnant on accident. You pregnant because you ain't had nothing else to do. Well, come on.
So how can you eliminate the cuff being cut out cycle? How can you eliminate?
Well, you have to talk about it. You have to look at them and say, hey, you know, whenever they let us out of here, you know how that dog been trying to get outside all day? And you open the door and he shoot outside, you be like, come back, come.
Exactly. As soon as you open that door, you go.
Yeah. But if you cuffing somebody or cuffing. If you cuffing somebody, you know you cuffing them, and you know when they try to get away from you too.
Oh yeah, you know. because they start arguments. They
Really?
start trying to annoy you, so you want them gone. That's the tactic to get away. Rod says eliminate by asking the other person what they're looking for. So she said they don't want to answer no questions like that. So if you ask like questions, what you looking for?
When you say what's all that about?
Right.
I thought we just enjoyed each other.
Hey, here's the question. What's your plans? You ask that question. Yeah. If somebody got an answer for you,
you running them off. You running them off then. Yeah, you're gonna run them off then. Mm-hmm.
So is it just dudes that's cuffing? What about women? Y'all think women were cuffing too?
I'm sure women were cuffing. They were with me. I'm sure they were cuffing, but they're not going to admit it. They're going to make it like the guy was all over them and they didn't have nowhere. They couldn't breathe because he was all up on them. I'm sure we're going to hear that. And
right.
At least until he get ready to walk outside anyway. Because soon they go outside. Where you go? Where you in? Where you at? What you do? I thought we was going. So you mean all that time didn't mean nothing to you?
Right. I wonder how many women got bored because you didn't have to wonder where he was. You knew where he was. He was in the house with you.
Mm-hmm.
How many women got bored?
Mm-hmm.
Abigail says, just start acting crazy, jealous, just get mad when they go out. I told you, yeah.
But Abigail, y'all do that all the time anyway. We don't have to be cupped then. We used to that. You gotta do something different. Cause girl, we get that all the time. We get that all the time.
But I think now, man, especially when you talk about the bar scenes, all this type of stuff, it's gonna really be crazy now. I think that backlash, because people they out now. They were held back for so long, they out now. I think it's gonna get real crazy, especially as far as relationship goes, because a lot of times people act right because they don't have a choice. And for 15 months, you didn't really have a choice.
You know, you got that's a good point. Because I had a friend of mine who was like, I think I talked to him when we was on in the midst of COVID. He was like, man, I'm gonna have to get me a girlfriend or something. And this is not a guy that normally had girlfriends. You know, he was like, I'm at home by myself and I can't get out like I normally do. So I'm looking for that relationship. Something. Yeah. So I agree. It had to be a tough time. I think it was, but as tough a time as you think it was being by yourself, I think it was tougher if you was with somebody that you really didn't want to be with.
Oh man. So y'all let me know. Anybody out there got hooked up with somebody out of convenience?
Hey, if you tell you that.
And then it wasn't convenient no more, and you was like, yeah, I gotta get out of this. How many of y'all got hooked up with out of convenience? Abigail says, he don't say all, because I be wanting to get away from my man. He drives me bananas. But how long before you got to get back to him?
Because she used to the bananas. Now she make banana pudding. She used to it now. She's like, well, you know, you drive me crazy. I'm be back in about 2 hours. You're gonna be right in when I get back. I'll be back in a couple of hours. And what was the best part of the cuffing though, D? It's easy to say, what are we looking forward to now that it's over? But what was the best part of it? Because to me, the best part should have been I got to know who they really were and how they really felt about me. Because if you don't like somebody, it's going to show when you forced to kind of stay together.
Mika said, no, we were not dating. I wasn't risking anything for them ninjas. COVID was outside and he came he came to everything. So Mika said she wasn't inviting COVID in, so you stay where you at. I'm doing my own thing. So Rod says, yep, and familiarity. What is it about familiar things that get bored?
Because they're the same. It's the same stuff. And well, you know the guy, he know you. Y'all know what to expect from each other. And perhaps that can be what's boring about it.
And I think that's probably the problem when people get too familiar, then they start relaxing. You know, you can only keep your representative on for so long. Then once you get too familiar, you start relaxing. Now people start really seeing what you about. So Rod says same old, and gets boring. So how do you stop it from getting boring? If you know it's the same old, how do you break out that routine? How do you get out of that? Ladies, help me. Y'all want the romance and the excitement and stuff. Man, we'll get into a routine. We like, I'm good.
but everybody will though. But so you trying to tell me when you've been married to somebody for a certain time, everything's still popping like it was when y'all first got together? Because that is not. It is not. And everything becomes more routine then. Relationships become routine after you've been in it for a little while. So if it's funny because we'll say we don't want the same old, but if you don't want the same old, you got to bring something different to expect something different. I don't want to go no deeper there, but I'm just saying.
What? We talking, we conversing, man. What you got?
I'm just saying, if you want the flowers or spontaneity, then you have to bring that. You can't just expect me to be, because that may not be who I am. Maybe, or that may not be who you are. And if I want more of that from you, then perhaps I should set the example and be like, hey, I'm gonna do something different. Hey, because it's not all about sex.
Yeah.
It's a lot about sex, but it's not all about sex.
So if you locked up with somebody for 15 months, how you gonna keep things exciting? I saw some pretty creative stuff. People were like taking mini vacations in the house. They'd go and they would decorate a certain kind of way or something like that. It was some people got very creative. Abigail says the best part was really going over our goals and saving.
There was a lot of that.
Saving was a blessing. Yes,
it was. Yes, it was.
I ain't got to spend a whole lot of no gas and oh man, that was huge for me. The gas bill. That was like
because you don't really realize how much you spend on that kind of stuff until you cut it all back. And like, wow, it's a whole check in there that we ain't spent yet. It was a lot. It was a blessing. It really was.
So Abigail said goals. So I wanted to, if y'all spent that time going over goals, how is it now? Now that it's time to actually put them to work, because you out now.
Now, D, you know how it is. Girl gone. We talked about that then. Let me go out here and kick it. Because, hey, you say a lot of stuff when you have to.
Yeah. You're right. You catch somebody on some moments, they brilliant. Then when it's time to put it to work, it's like.
Well, that's how most of us are. That's how most of us are. We make promises. And during those times, we making promises. We're saying what we're gonna do, how we want to build, So it's more difficult once the door is open because now the discipline of it has to kick in where you didn't necessarily have discipline. You have restraints when you're making all those things up.
Abigail says, I think that whoever wants to change needs to be the one who initiates it. Allow the person to make the change as well. Time to make the change as well.
I agree. Yeah, because most time if you thinking, oh, the same old thing is boring, he ain't this, he ain't that, well, or if this whoever it is, whether it's the guy or the girl, you need to say at that point, well, maybe I should do something different. Well, let me try this. Let me go pick up some flowers, or let me go pick up some fruit or something when we play hide the fruit or wait, no.
What?
No, I'm in around the house.
Right.
Around the house, man. Around the house.
All right. So when does cuffing turn into commitment?
I think when you start catching feelings, because see, I believe that's what happens. I think we go into something and we don't expect to bring our feelings with us. But, but eventually you start seeing that person. For example, if I'm not the most attractive person, but I have a great personality and people really enjoy me, well, if you were thinking originally, well, this is not really what I want some more of this, some more of that. Well, when you get around me, you can't help but fall in love with me because I'm the greatest guy that you've ever had. I treat you like a queen. I do this for you, and you get to see that. When you in there with me, you get to see that, and the more you see that, you're like, wow, this guy's actually everything that I wanted. And I think it gave people an opportunity to see each other for what they really were. And if you was ugly acting, if you was ugly on the inside and fine on the outside, it gave the guys an opportunity to say, yeah, she fine, but her attitude stank. And I can't, as soon as that door's crack open, I'm gonna run out of here doing 900.
Right. So cuffing turned into commitment. I think you're right. Because now you really kind of forced to really take a look at this person. Really take a look. I mean, you cut your options down, but now that the option's open, now here comes the test. Commitment gets tested now. You like, this somebody I can see myself being with. You know, they got their head on straight and all this type of stuff. But now you're going to see a whole lot of other people. It's going to be a whole lot of other options out there. Does it turn into commitment after you get out there? You like, you know what? I'm still good.
I don't think it do. No. I think whatever you was thinking before then, I think you go back to that. I think the longer you be out, the longer the doors stay open, the more who you were is coming back. I would like to say we change and we mature, but that's just simply not the case unless you want to. You have to want to change and do that and be another type of person. If you don't want to, you're just gonna go back to like you were before the doors were open. Because think about this, Dan. Am I lying? Most of the stuff that we wasn't doing while we were on COVID call. Unless you make it up in your head you want to change, you're not gonna really do it once the doors come back open. You're gonna find yourself doing the same things you were doing before then. If you're running dudes in the back door out the front, it's just a matter of time.
I think now you find what you can do without. Because a lot of people, I mean, not just relationships, they found out that a lot of stuff that they thought they needed, they realized they didn't need.
Oh, that's true.
So I think now you probably got people more settled down mentally to where they may have a little more focus now. And they realize, you know what, that stuff didn't satisfy me, make me happy. So let me start looking at what's really going to be fulfilling for me as far as relationships go.
You know, that's good, man. That's really good. I agree with it to a certain point, man. I guess because trying to figure out how people are going to, whether or not people are going to change and how they change, man, it really just depends on the person. Because, man, how many times do we make promises when we have to? Most of the time we do stuff that we have to do, and while we're doing it, we realize how great it is and how much that extra baggage. Hey, man, this actually feel good. I don't have to worry about my phone going off at different times if she gonna see it. I don't have to worry about hiding somebody in the back while somebody come through the front. Now I just make the same person run around like that to make me feel like I used to feel. But dude, when things go back to normal, you are going to want to go back to normal eventually. And so in these times, you got to figure out what your norm is now.
What's the new normal for you?
Yes.
All right. Somebody said everything was forced. Everybody had to stay in. So that really doesn't mean they have changed. If they go back to what they were doing before, really was a commitment. You were just there when they needed you at the time. That's right. I mean, I get that. You can't say, I tell people, you can't say you fasting if you ain't got no food in the house.
You just hungry.
You just starving. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to not have access, and a whole other thing to have access and say, I'm cutting that off. Whole different animal.
Yeah.
Whole different animal.
He said,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
it's
so
a
you
big
mad."
difference. That's why I think when we talk about cupping turning to commitment, you figured out some stuff, but now it's gonna be tested because now it's open. The options are there now.
That's true, D. But you know, to be honest, it's not really a commitment until you have another choice. Why
Mm,
you locked in the house with me? That ain't commitment. We just doing what we need to do to entertain each other for this particular time. Commitment is about you choosing me over what's outside in them streets. So if outside in them streets ain't there, that ain't no commitment. We just playing. We in here playing until the doors open. That's where the commitment come in. If when it's time to be in the house, you in the house with him or her. That's when the commitment start. That's all COVID did was play with you.
Lena said, "Priest John."
Well, I don't do it every time, but sometimes I get one out.
It's that anointing is on him tonight.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
serious, man. I think we get it mixed up because 3 months is a habit. We've created certain habits in this time of COVID, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't create another one as soon as you get the opportunity to.
You're absolutely right. I guess my thing is just even with normal cuffing, your intentions were selfish to begin with. You went hooked up with somebody for your own convenience, and now that convenience doesn't apply anymore, you right back to it. But you're absolutely right. Without options, it's not really commitment. It's you settling, or whether you stuck. So if you ain't stuck now, what's the game now? What you trying to do?
Well, but I think the best thing that comes out of this kind of stuff, Dick, is it begins to show us who we really are sometimes. Because a lot of times the mirror that I see and look through is different from the way you see me. Because I still see myself 6'3", 6'4", with the hair and the chiseled body. That's how I see myself in my mirror. Mm-hmm. But COVID this time has gave everybody an opportunity to really see themselves. Yeah, I know what you want to see, but this gives you the opportunity to see yourself. And more importantly, find out what type of person you are and who you want to be.
Right.
Go ahead.
Let's take the flip side of it. Let's take the person who didn't cuff or get cuffed, but it was just them riding this thing out. Are you extra motivated to get to the dating scene? Or are you more content with yourself now because now you know you don't need all that? So y'all let me know. Is anybody out there like that?
Anybody like that?
You don't think nobody like that?
I went to Vegas about 3 weeks ago. Ain't nobody like that. Everybody out.
Everybody out.
Everybody out. But I have never seen so many people out at one time. It's almost frightening. You like, what are all these people? And they were just 75% over. They wasn't even 100%. It was so many people. Like they was scared that it was gonna close it back again before they got out.
Yeah. So I think people was worried about a second wave and all this type of stuff. So they was trying to get their party in.
Yes.
But so I think somebody just before just said, I wasn't having nobody over because Kobe was out there. I wasn't playing no games. But now stuff is opening back up. Are you extra motivated to get out and date? Or are you more content to where you're like, nah, I'm not in no rush. I don't need to run back out there so fast.
Well, people are going to do what makes them feel good about themselves at the time. Mm-hmm. Now, you can only go with being in the house with loving on yourself for so long. After the door, you see a little daylight in there, boy, you're going to run out there doing 9. You're going to run faster than Usain Bolt trying to get out there to be with somebody. Because listen, I'm curious. Some of y'all singers, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you're not itching to get back out there because you feel like you've given away a year of your life and you didn't really have anything to show for it. I'm curious. Tell me I'm wrong. Because I know I'm not, but you can tell me anyway.
Oh man, because I remember going into 2020, it was like 2020 gonna be the year. Like New Year's, it's like we gonna kill it. 2020, it's gonna be the year. And COVID say, "Oh, really? what you say you doing now?" And completely shut everything down.
It was terrible. It was terrible, and it made if you date somebody. What if you had just started dating somebody? Did you not put pressure on that relationship? But did that not put pressure on the relationship? Did that not perhaps speed that thing up along more? Because all you really got was each other at that time.
Yeah, you got to know somebody real quick in that situation.
You had to, or you just dismissed it altogether.
Mick said, call me Flojo. I was excited to get out to see family and friends and would love to date with a purpose.
I'm just saying. Flojo had the nails and the ring and she was doing like this. I was saying, man, because it's human nature to want to be around people, especially when you've been sitting in the house losing your mind. If you've been in there, or even if you've been with somebody else in the house, man, you're trying to get out and see the world and do something. Because oh my God, I'm about to go crazy, and I got to get out of these pajamas. I got to get out of these the bonnets. I got to get out of all this. I had to learn how to walk again in shoes. We was in the house so long.
I wore a suit for the first time in a year this past weekend. The first time in a year I wore a suit.
No, I can't. I'm trying to remember last time I put on a suit, man. I can't remember. I just knew when I put on regular shoes. You know how they put them the white shoes on kids, and they feet be wiggling like that. That's how mine was when I put on.
Need to get you some of them hard bottoms. You know them hard bottoms the babies put on.
Well, wearing high shoes every day, man. Wearing high shoes was killing me, man. Every day it was killing me. Mm-hmm.
But I think people should be excited about getting out. You still got to be cautious, but I think it should be exciting to get back out now, because I think people have a new appreciation for life now.
You think so? People don't appreciate life.
You don't think?
No, man. No. People are gonna be people. People gonna run out there and act like COVID was never here before. Like COVID was a distant cousin that they ain't never met. Have you heard? Did COVID happen to you? Nah, girl, I don't know. I'm telling you, people gonna go out there and do them, man. That's what we do. We forget about it like it never came. All we trying to do right now is get ourselves satisfied. I got to get out. I've been out of action for a year and a half. I got to get out here and do my thing. Whatever that is, I got to get out here and do that. COVID not going to change nobody. It's not going to change you like that. Because when you're young, you think you're going to live forever. You think you don't shook COVID off. It done got the old folk. It ain't got you. It ain't touched you.
Yeah, but if you knew somebody, you know, family member or somebody you knew that lost, you don't think.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what. How many young folk brought it home to old people? How many times did you hear about somebody young partying during COVID, bringing it home to old people? So what makes you think they're gonna be cautious now? They weren't cautious then.
Well, I'm not necessarily talking about necessarily caution, but just having more of appreciation. Like you got some people who they didn't want to take risk, but they like, man, if something like this gonna take me out, I might as well go ahead and take risk. And I'm not necessarily talking about bad risk. I'm talking about where they weren't living, they were reserved. They needed to get out and do more. Maybe they said, you know what, I'm gonna get out, seize life, seize the moment.
Do people still smoke crack?
I don't know, do they?
Yeah. Do they still smoke meth?
I thought Memphis is a drug of choice now, but
I just don't understand. No, man, it's just, man, listen, it would be nice if we took stuff more serious, but we don't. We throw caution to the wind with most stuff, man. A few of us are going to be hesitant about getting out, and we're going to tiptoe out there before we start running. But we going though. We going.
Okay. But I'm looking at it, man. Vacations, entertainment venues, dude, it's about to go crazy.
We was on a plane and there wasn't an empty seat on the plane. This was almost a month ago.
Yeah.
There wasn't, and we wasn't even open yet. We wasn't even back 100%, and there wasn't empty seat on the plane. They were like, get them purses out of the seats. Yo, you're gonna have to put Fufu and Fifi in your lap because we got all them seats taken.
Man.
And this was a month ago. So yeah, I'm telling you, bro, people trying to get out there and get theirs.
Well, for those people who had the COVID relationships, I wish you the best. All right. Abigail says they probably appreciated life then when it happened, but that all fades away. How quickly we forget, right?
Yeah. That's why you gotta keep whooping your kids. Cause they forget about it.
You gotta stay on them so it stay in their mind, right?
They forget about it, man. Listen, I don't want to, but I whoop on my wife every 2 weeks. Cause right about that week, she get kind of
I thought you were gonna talk about kids. You talk about you whoop on your wife.
She get out of line. She get out of line a little bit. I gotta whoop her back over this line. Everybody every week I gotta whoop back over this line. Hey man, cause they forget, man. They forget.
All right. So just so y'all know, if you hear a door get kicked open and the screen go black, you know what happened. John just got in trouble. If you hear some noise from tussling and rustling,
Oh, he say tussling and rustling.
you already know he overtalked himself.
It's two things I'm gonna turn off: the mic and the view.
Well, that would be funny.
Oh,
I looked at
I
it, saw you in the headlock.
I would never be able to live it down. I would never be able to live it down, man. Mm-hmm.
All right. So how do you change the cupping to consistency?
I think you first start with conversation. I think you first start with, okay, now we out of our cages. Now what do we want? What do we both want this thing to be? And you had a conversation about it, then you start working toward whatever that conversation is. But it has to start with a conversation, and you have to lay everything out and let me know, because I don't want to be getting, well, see what we do and how. No. Well, let me get out here first a little bit. See, no. It has to be wanted by both sides.
And I think the whole purpose of the conversation is so you can set the right expectation. What's going to be expected of me versus what I'm expecting of you. And that conversation, now we know how to vibe with each other, or we know what each other's looking for. So the consistency is a little easier. Not saying it's going to be easy, but it's a little more simple because I know what the boundaries are. I know what the limits are because we talked about it. And I don't think people do enough talking. So maybe this gave people more time to talk about, what needs to happen.
That's true. I agree with that. That's a really good point, though, because I think there's probably more talking than we've ever done before was doing COVID, when that's all you had with it. Now, the consistency of it is me keeping that up. How we gonna keep that part of it up? Because we grew leaps and bounds together when we were talking to each other, but there were no other options. Right.
And like you said, you can't really have commitment without choices. So,
yeah.
We can say it's conversation, communication, and consistency. That's the name of the game. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't think people talk enough.
Oh no, they don't. They don't. Well, not only do they not only do they not talk enough, they're not talking enough, but we bypass so much stuff because we don't talk. We miss stuff. I don't see how you could miss stuff if you're in the house. Hopefully you got a lock during COVID where you on full, where now you don't need it. perhaps we have talked about so much to where we're in a good place. Because to be honest, a year and a half is a long time, D. Relationships should be in a really good place as far as communication is concerned. It should be. You don't think?
Yeah. And I think you got past that point. A lot of times people don't talk because they worried about what the other person gonna say or what they're gonna think, and they worried about them leaving. You had that option to leave. So people got a little bit more bolder in expressing themselves. And so I think people probably opened up a lot more than they normally do, because you know this person has to listen to you now.
Hmm. But before the doors are open, don't we know which way the relationship is going? Or are we fooling ourselves and thinking that we know? Because you know eventually the doors was going to open back up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So do we act like we didn't know? Do we how do we navigate through that? Do I go for the home and try to pull you closer to me? Do I back up to try to see what you want? How do we navigate through that?
Well, hopefully you had a conversation about what the other person likes, what the other person respects as far as space. I mean, you know, just hopefully you had that conversation. So now you can, when you go back out, you're smarter about how to deal with that person. Now it's still up to you at that point to now put it into practice, but at least you know what needs to happen. You know how this person wants to receive respect or love, and you know what they're looking for. Now delivering on that is a whole nother thing.
Well, I'm just curious on how we can get babies out of this lockdown, but we don't have relationships out of it. I'm just, for the life of somebody got to explain that to me.
You had babies without relationships before the lockdown, before COVID.
You think we got a lot of babies? You think we got a lot of COVID babies, Dave?
Oh man, you know people's getting it in. You're gonna have a little corona, little COVID,
little rotation,
little quarantine, little,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
pandemisha.
Yeah, that's how we do. That's how we do. Mm-hmm.
All right. Final thoughts.
All right. Well, my final thought on today is, you know, we had the 15 months and we had an opportunity to be with somebody or be with yourself. Either one of them are good because it gives you time to reflect and look at yourself and figure out what it is you want and what you want your life to be about. Okay? Because no matter what age you are, we can still deter and go different ways to figure out things and what's going to be best for us. And I'm saying, I just hope you took that time and grew in an area that's going to make you better for you and not just for somebody else. That's my final thought.
Okay, so we're back to work, back outside. During the pandemic, you made your plans, you wrote it down, you prayed over it, the whole nine. So now it's time to put it into practice. It's time to put it to work. It's time to make whatever you decided you were going to do. It's time to make it happen. And this is where the test really starts. This is where commitment is going to be tested. And you have to expect it. You have to expect that things are going to be tested. It's going to get tough. But I believe if you would stick it out, discipline is going to be the order of the day until Jesus come back. So as long as you apply that discipline to that plan, the life that you had time to dream of when you were locked up in this pandemic, that life can now happen. You can now work on actually making that happen and seeing that come to fruition because you got that discipline to make it work. But by all means, let's make it happen. The world needs it. And that's our King Speak for this week. Man, another one in the books.
Another one down, man. Another one down.
Yeah, man. So don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Click on the little bell so you notify whenever we go live, which is every Monday, and you'll be aware of anything that we're doing. Make sure you tell somebody.
And if you can't get to us on Monday, go to the podcast. We're all social media outlets, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. We on all of them. We on all, and to my understanding, we load them up, a different one up every week. So it's always one on there. Go back and check them out. You will have a blast. They're just as funny tonight as they will be when you listen to it on the podcast. Maybe even funny.
Yeah. So make sure you go back and check it out. But ladies and gentlemen, we have appreciated your time being here with us. Thank y'all. We'll catch y'all next week, 7 o'clock. Y'all have a good week.
And y'all take the bonnets off.